How's it going, folks? My name's Kevin, otherwise known as Executioner213, also known as the Heavy Metal Yard Gnome. Want to thank you for coming to my YouTube channel. I wanted to start things off with this new year. If you haven't already seen, I did a Children of Bodom guitar playthrough. I wanted to start off the new year by doing a little Q&A. Kind of over the last little period of time, I had some people send me some questions. I was kind of plugging people saying, hey, hit me up with some questions. So I got some entertaining stuff and some knowledgeable stuff that I can impart on you in case you're wanting to know who the fuck is this fat Yard Gnome mountain dwarf looking motherfucker that's playing guitar. Want to know a little bit more about what I do, who I am, whatever? Well, I'm going to start that snowball rolling now, so hopefully you aren't too disappointed. Who the fuck are you? Alright, well, like I said, my name is Kevin George. I'm going to be 35 in about a month. Born in 83, so I'm not a fucking millennial. I've been playing guitar for 25 years now. Been a gigging musician since 2001, I guess you could say 2000, when I was still in high school. My first performance was in front of over 2,000 people. I did the national anthem, playing guitar for my school pep assembly or whatever, you know, and that was kind of a little bit of a trial by fire. That was my first time playing in front of more than like 2 people. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. Whatever. Nobody cares about that. Since then, I've gone on to play in a number of bands. One band that some people on the interwebs have probably heard of that I toured with for almost 2 months was a band called Hemlock. Played guitar for in 2010. And then shortly after that, I was in a band that some underground folks might know a little bit more about, a American black metal band named Mar Trident. I did vocals and bass for. Since then, I've kind of done some stuff here and there with a few bands of my own, and jumped on being hired on to a couple bands too. Blah, blah, blah. That's pretty much what I'm about. If you want to know more, ask more specific questions. Who are your influences? My biggest influence probably is Tony Iommi. That was kind of the big, you know, Sabbath was what kind of made me decide I wanted to play. Followed by one of the bigger things that kind of made me decide I wanted to play was watching the video for Metallica 1. You know, I really wanted to learn how to you know, that was, you know, something that pretty much sold it to me back then. That was kind of like what got me started playing, was pretty much, you know, Metallica, Black Sabbath, pretty standard for everyone. Not so much I want to learn how to play Paranoid Black Sabbath, but more I want to learn how to play, you know, all this crazy drug-fueled doom that they were doing pretty much after Paranoid. My bigger influences as far as like what I'm doing now goes, I mean, I've picked up a lot of stuff over the years, but I'm very into guitar players like Jeff Loomis, Jason Becker, James Murphy. I'm into a lot of more rhythm-oriented guitar players. Vogue from Decapitated. I know that's a sensitive subject right now, but he's still a monster guitar player. Obviously Dimebag Darrell. Big fan of, you know, the guys from Carcass, and you know, I'm kind of a fan of, you know, tight guitar playing. You know, Mike Lamont would probably be a big one, just because he's been renowned for, you know, Carcass and Arch Enemy and stuff like that. Yeah. So, and then, yeah, you know, as far as bass players go, I've been pretty well into, you know, Steve Harris, Geddy Lee, Steve DiGiorgio is a big one. Geezer Butler, you know, finger players, guys that I've been into for a long time. Alex Webster. I ended up kind of being a guitar and a bass player for a couple of reasons. I had both available to me when I was starting as a musician, and then also I had a family tragedy when I was very, very young. Uncle of mine died, and he was a bass player, so even though I was like kind of gravitated more to guitar just by, you know, what everything was coming down from the world, but at the same time, you know, I had this like, you know, wanting to honor his legacy kind of thing, so I started playing around on his bass a lot. So I guess you could say my Uncle Randy was a big influence to what I do now. So there you go. There's my influences. Are you Samoan? No, I'm not. I get that question a ridiculous amount. I am not Samoan. I am a lot of stuff that's not Samoan. I am mostly Irish and Native, with a bunch of other stuff that is not Pacific Islander at all. Pretty much no African, no Pacific Islander, no Asian. About as Middle Eastern as my descent goes is Turkish. There you go. More information than you probably even cared to know about me. But really, I'm not Samoan. Sorry, folks. I'm not even tall enough to be Samoan. How the fuck does everybody think I'm Samoan? I don't get it. Do you use any beard products? It's funny you should ask, and I'm going to do this right now, because I am not endorsed by these guys whatsoever, but I've been a subscriber to their program pretty much since it started. Through my mentorship with A.L. Levy. Started with going through one of his seminars, and he mentioned, you know, yeah, hang tight, we're going to be doing some beard products. So I was kind of one of the, you know, I'm not the first guy or anything, but one of the first subscribers to this service, which is metalbeardclub.com. You know, once again, I don't get anything out of this, but I figured here's a plug for something that I use and abuse all the time. So I'm going to do a little quick unboxing for you. This came in the mail for me. So what you get is you get a box, depending on when your subscription takes over. It looks like this. So what I have in here is we've got some stash wax. And this is actually, usually I get unscented, like plain stash wax. And this says cedarwood wax. And I'm assuming the flavor of the month is Sunken Chest. So you'll have to check that out, see what that's about. Then you get some beard balm, which comes in a container like this. This is Drunk White Wizard, and if I remember, this is my favorite one too. Yep, it is my favorite one. Drunk White Wizard is kind of a vanilla-y type of scent, and I really like it. And so do the ladies. Alright, and then also you get beard oil with a vial. I think you can get varying sizes based on what you get. This is the Arch oil, and as usual, oh yeah, it smells good. I don't get any complaints about the stuff I'm using. People are always freaked out. They're like, "You got to be using a beard product. That stuff smells so good." It's like, yeah, well, I'm part of this little deal. I don't get anything free, you know. I think I might have a discount just because I was an early subscriber, but that's not like anything I get out of anything else other than I was there first, or you know, in the first line of people. So there you go. metalbeardclub.com. Also, the first time I ordered one, they ended up sending me a guitar pick in the box, you know, so that's pretty cool. You know, I've used it a couple times just for some random tracking. It's, it's nothing special. It's just kind of a, but yeah, pretty cool guys involved. They're one of the businesses I support, and even though I'm sure I still will get nothing out of this other than my normal fare, check them out. They're cool. I dig it. I like to use it all the time. I've gotten other beard products and I don't like them. So, this stuff, Metal Beard Club, is for the Yard Gnome. It's where it's at. Is it hard playing guitar with those sausage dick beaters? No, it's about as hard as playing with your mom with my sausage dick beaters and my sausage dick. Go fuck yourself. The buddy that said that will know exactly that. It's funny. No, I don't think it's any harder to play guitar for me than anyone else who has fat fingers or long fingers or short fingers. It's all kind of about dedication and getting used to whatever hurdle that your playing requires. For example, one other guitar player that's pretty well renowned that has some sausage dick beater fingers would be Michael Romeo from Symphony X. And maybe not at the start of his career, but probably currently, I'd like to think Yngwie Malmsteen has some fucking dick beater fingers, at least from what I've seen. But then you got, if you want to look at the whole spectrum too, you've got players that have abnormally long fingers that are known for their abilities too, that I would personally like to think would kind of get jumbled up, players like Tobin Abasi and Steve Vai, and there's actually a lot of guitar players that have really exceptionally long fingers that also there's other instances where players, some of these instances have nothing to really do with what their finger size is, but because of like some kind of handicap that has happened, so back to the Tony Iommi thing, obviously everybody knows he chopped a couple of the tips of his fingers off, and he designed rubber thimble stuff and put leather on them to kind of cover those. They would actually be this hand, but anyway, and then like Django Reinhardt, was he missing a finger? I can't remember, but I know he plays with just a couple or whatever. Amazing guitar player, you don't need all the amount of or the same neutral amount of. It's kind of just more about what your tenacity allows for being able to play with whatever you got. Some people have the regular gear and can't fucking perform. Yes, that was a dick joke. Were you trained or self-taught? Kind of a little bit of both. And I mean, I guess everybody can kind of say that to some degree, but I was self-taught to start out with, and then I took guitar lessons from a classical teacher that advertised in the paper when I was living in Arizona, that his name was Judd Walp, and I don't even know whatever happened to him, but got into classical lessons through him. He actually would come to my house and we'd do lesson sessions. He eventually got to where he had to take a job that eliminated his ability to teach guitar lessons. It was something that took away his free time in the schedule to where he was no longer able to do that. So he actually deferred me to his teacher, who was a little bit more renowned in the area guitar teacher named Steven Sauls. This was down in Tucson, Arizona. What ended up happening was I got really big into Randy Rhoads and decided that, if I'm going to get as good as Randy Rhoads, then I need to kind of do some of the same shit that he's doing. And what he was, as most of you probably know, he was a rock metal guitar player that was also classically trained. So, and you can argue the same point with players like Jimmy Page and There's several other players that have a little bit of a classical background, but I felt that in order for me to kind of get a kickstart into playing bigger and better and doing all the cool stuff, that I needed to get into something a little bit more intense than just learning Slayer songs by ear like I was doing at that point. And was I 15? I'd already been playing for a handful of years. I think I'd already been playing for 5 years. I was like 15. So that's where it's at. I learned just to kind of get ahead, and then I actually quit taking lessons and moved to Montana. And it never really happened again, to where I wanted to. There was actually a guitar player here in Bozeman, about an hour away, that took lessons from Christopher Parkening, and I thought that was pretty intense. I wanted to get in on that, but just it never has happened yet. So, maybe one day I'll get back into taking lessons. Otherwise, most of my lesson stuff has been self-absorbed from just learning hundreds and hundreds of songs and playing in different bands, so that's a good source of learning as well. How long have you been playing? All right, so like I said, I've been playing for 25 years now, as of January 2018. So it started with, I don't remember why, but my dad ended up putting this guitar, which I still have, I've had it this whole time. My dad ended up putting this guitar in the case it was in, it's dirty, in my bedroom, and I don't know, maybe he'll see this and he'll answer my question, I don't know. I don't know if it was to just temporarily move it out of the room. I don't know if it was to like, hey, so I'm gonna leave this in here, just in case, you have any kind of random interest to learn how to play guitar. I don't know what the intention was for it, but that guitar ended up in my room, and I just kind of took it by the reins, starting with just kind of fucking with it, and then that moved on to playing with stuff and turning the knobs and all that shit, and being afraid that I was going to get in trouble. Just from there, I started fucking around with it and starting to plug it into the amp, and see how loud I can get without freaking anything out, whatever. So that was literally 25 years ago. So in, what would that be? 1990... I can't do math right now. 1993. That's when that would have been. So I've been playing since then, and my first band experiences were when I was 16. I ended up taking a job working at the hospital. I was a transportation assistant. I had to bring people to get x-rays and tests and stuff like that. I pretty much just was a wheelchair pusher and bed pusher is what I was doing. But I also had to gather up people that had passed and bring them down to the morgue. So while my friends were pouring ice cream and making french fries and bagging groceries, I was doing crazy shit in the hospital and working a lot more hours and stuff. So nobody cares. So anyways, the point of that was, once I started working in the hospital, I met a guy. His name was Bob Castella. This was down in Tucson. He started, talking to me and stuff. Hey, man, what's up? Pretty cool looking, whatever, and I was bugging him. I was like, yeah, you look like a metal dude, what's up? And he started giving me tapes and stuff, like recording me stuff like, oh, you like Megadeth? How about some Death? You like this? How about some Hate Eternal? I was just like kind of opening a world for me, because at that time, nobody I knew listened to fucking metal like that, I was just like, holy shit, So I thought that was ultra cool. And then one day, I was like, hey, so I got a band. You want to come try out on guitar? Ended up joining that band. It was called Vile Conviction. And I was fired within a month. Partially because I didn't even have sufficient equipment. I shouldn't have even been trying out for a band. And that was one of those things that, you know, it was like a crossroads. It was, you either need to get serious or you need to just stay in your bedroom and play to yourself, and, molded over a bit and decided I was going to stick with it. And here I am, several years later, playing guitar around parts of the country and playing guitar on YouTube for you to make fun of. Please do. How you be selling tickets, though? This is actually pretty funny because, this is an interesting topic because it's actually very fucking hard to sell tickets anymore. And, especially in certain markets. I honestly kind of don't know how anybody sells tickets in markets like LA and shit like that, just because I've never lived there and I don't know how that experience goes. I've heard a lot of, stuff about the pay to play stuff, which is more or less, a lot of people don't even know how that works, but, you need to sell this many tickets in order to be on the bill, which is pretty much paying to play because you have to end up buying the tickets in order to even play. But, the, method I usually use for selling tickets is pretty much just hitting people up. I mean, there's no real science to it. You kind of just have to, it's like Girl Scout cookies. You almost have to guilt people into them, except for Girl Scout cookies are actually good. Metal shows are questionable, which is why people don't buy fucking tickets. But I've seen the same sort of thing though with, like rap shows and stuff, because I work security for stuff and everything, so hearing the same kind of arguments from local performers that are like, yeah, I hustled all my friends, couldn't get anybody to buy a ticket, and they either, say, well, okay, sure, whatever, or they tell you to fuck off. These guys sold 20 tickets, so they're going to get the spot. You can just get your free entry or something, for trying. We sold one ticket, I guess we'll let you in. But it's also especially difficult when you're playing in other towns and you have to sell tickets. When venues are like, yeah, we'll let you play, but you need to bring this many people. And it's like, well, I'm driving fucking 300 miles. How am I supposed to do that? So you try to hit up some of the people, some of the people that you think would actually show up, and, you just try to guilt them into it. I don't really know how to answer it other than get lucky. How you be selling tickets, though? You get lucky. There have been occasions where bands I've been in have had to do a buy-on because we're not sure, if we're able to just sell these tickets. My band At Home in Hell did a buy-on in order to play with Soulfly, Suffocation, Battlecross, and Abnormality, but that's a common thing. That's what bands have to do anymore. If you want to be on some of the bigger bills like that, the venue has to know that there's going to be this much money in the pot. That's honestly what they look at. They don't totally 100% care if the room is full. They care if the money is made. That's just how shit works. It sucks, but that's how it is. There's no more days of, giving people a chance anymore. These venues are just wanting to make sure they're able to cover their cost. I get it. So, argue all you want. That's just how it is. How important is music theory to you versus following your ears? Well, this is an age-old argument, and I guess I can impart my feeling on it. I'm a middle-of-the-road guy, and that's the only reason I can even give that argument is because that's what's worked for me. I know a little bit of music theory. I'm actually terrible at reading music, other than I can kind of read timing pretty all right, but I can't read notes fast enough. Like, I know what notes they are and stuff, but I literally have to go, okay, whatever. So I'm able to figure that kind of shit out kind of okay, like timing wise and everything, and I kind of know that, I know what my intervals are and stuff like that, but I kind of also do a lot more following my ears and following what sounds conventional, and is one better than the other? I don't know. Yes, there are rules to be applied, but there's also rules to be broken, and I kind of just go with, what sounds good to me, what works, I do kind of follow some music theory, and I try to follow a little bit of, it's not even so much music theory, but just song structure, trying to base things off of, when I'm writing music. I'm still my own worst critic at it, but coming up with, songs based on stuff that is similar to what I think people listen to and what I listen to and whatever. I've actually had that argument with a bandmate recently, and I was like, to be honest, I enjoy Dillinger Escape Plan, but I don't like trying to write music like Dillinger Escape Plan or really crazy Frank Zappa stuff or whatever. I just can't do it. I'm a lot more, song-based, like, Metallica, AC/DC, Iron Maiden, stuff like that. I mean, yeah, there's ways to get crazy, but I can't just off left field. That's just me. I can learn that stuff. I can regurgitate that stuff. You'll probably see some videos this year of me doing that, but I have a hard time doing spontaneous stuff. I have a hard time improvising. I couldn't play jazz like that, unless I knew what I was playing ahead of time. That's just me. That's the player I am. Judge me. Right in the comments how dumb you think I am for that. Tell me how to change or something. Whatever. Alright, so this was Q&A number 1. And I hope there's at least a little bit of interest in wanting to know what the hell it is. I've done... What have I done? Like 30 playthrough videos up to this point. So there's got to be someone out there wondering, okay, who the fuck is this guy? And if you want to know more, you can ask more questions in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer just about everything. Obviously, I answered some pretty goofball fucking questions that people ask me on here. If you have any other interest in wanting to know if I will do things like requests, I'll probably do requests. I do have one request that I'm going to try to placate here soon. It'll kind of be up for whatever the schedule is and everything like that, because as much as I'd like to do this YouTube thing full time, it really comes down to the fact that I am a full-time college student. I've got 3 more semesters left, which starts tomorrow, or technically today, I guess. Also, I have, a couple jobs that I work and everything, so I'm not just sitting back here playing guitar all day as much as I'd like to. The one thing I will say in this, though, is to keep in mind, if you're wanting to talk shit, I will talk shit back. It's fair game, right? It's the internet. What I did was I made a list of stuff, albums and bands and stuff that I like, and the albums that come out on a certain day. So that's why I'm kind of doing this history of metal thing. So the Children of Bodom thing, I put out on January 7th. That's because that album came out January 7th, 2003. So I'm kind of just made a list of everything that kind of comes out. Am I going to be able to do them all in order of things that I found? No. And I've also found several, dates on the calendar where there's fucking 12 great albums came out on that day in several different years over a period of time, It makes it to where I don't have to come up with what to play and what songs to cover and everything. It kind of is feeding it to me. So I don't have to be indecisive and just go, oh, all right, cool, that album's cool. And then I can kind of pick off of that, or ask a couple friends, hey, what would you like to hear off of this album? Right on, cool. I also am pretty much doing all of this in a day. So every time I do one of these songs, I might spread out a couple of the processes over a couple days, but I'm literally like doing guitars and bass, and like in the Enslaved video, I did keyboards for once. I'm literally doing all that in like one session. So, you know, back to the Children of Bodom video, I actually did all the guitars and bass in one session, one sit down, filmed all of it, and then I left for 4 days, came back, edited it, made it the video that you saw. I even already know what stuff I fucked up on it. But yeah, it is kind of just like a, there you go, video process for me. If I was to actually take these songs that I'm doing for the sake of these videos and learn them to the extent that some people learn them for their cover videos and play them to the extent for their cover videos, yeah, I probably would have 100% accuracy on shit. I would honestly hope I would have 100% accuracy on shit. So, that being said, I'm pretty much giving you a fucking video like this. You didn't play that very clean. I don't fucking care. You know, I'm just kind of doing something I enjoy, and I hope you enjoy it. So if you like this Q&A, if you like the videos I do, if you like just having somebody to fuck with, I don't care. You know, whatever it is that you like, I really hope you just enjoy the videos and enjoy, you know, wanting to know a little bit more about the kind of player I am. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, click the little bell ding your thingy to make sure that you know whenever I upload something, it'll let you know. And yeah, go through and listen to some of the other videos and stuff. And if you're kind of digging what I got going on, it doesn't matter which video it is. Comment on there, say, hey, fucking like what you're doing. Do this instead. Request some songs or something. You know, I'm going to try to start getting a little more explorative with some of the shit that I'm doing. And eventually be able to do, you know, a lot more crazy stuff. Right now, yeah, I'm a metal guitar player. You can probably tell, and I'm playing a bunch of metal, but we'll eventually get to where I'm catering to a little bit more broader spectrum and doing other goofy stuff just for the sake of putting content on YouTube. Because I can. Motherfuckers are watching kids play video games all day long, or kids are watching video game playing shit all day long, so this can't be the worst thing anybody could be putting on YouTube. So hopefully you enjoy it. Thank you for coming, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the flip side.